Hello everyone and welcome to another Pyro Gaming video. In this video we're going to be talking about 5 of my favorite exotics that nobody uses. These are the 5 most underrated exotics in the game in my opinion. So to do this we're going to head right here to our exotic weapon kiosk. Go ahead and bust this open and we'll go ahead and get this out of the way because I know you guys are going to ask. The only exotic weapon that I'm missing is Outbreak Prime. I have the quest, I just haven't had the desire to go finish it. All I need to do is go kill 3 raid bosses and then sink the engines again. I just haven't done it. That's all there is to it. I just haven't done it. But nonetheless, also I'll show you I have Nova Mortis and all that too. And then over here, the Vex Mythoclast still eludes me. Cannot find one. So anyway, let's go ahead and talk about the 5 exotics that are really good that nobody uses. And these aren't going to be in any particular order. I'm just going to kind of go through them in the order that they are on the blueprints here just to make it easier. But we're going to start with Suros Regime, man. I know what you're going to say. Auto rifle? Really, Pyro? Auto rifles are fucking garbage. And a couple of weeks ago, honestly, I would have agreed with you, but I really do believe that Bungie might have done something to auto rifles without telling us, because if you get yourself a Suros Regime and you put Focus Fire on, along with the Suros Legacy perk and Hammer Forged, you have a fucking legit weapon, man. Like on high-level Fallen Walker tanks and stuff like this thing deals about 2,000 a bullet, which is up there with like the Suros DIS-43 Scout Rifle. The only difference being that with this bad boy, you get 33 rounds in the magazine, and you can do hell of amounts of damage. Now, I wouldn't recommend this for, you know, like major bosses. I wouldn't recommend this versus like a raid boss or something like that. But pretty much any strike that you're going to be in, this is a solid option, guys. Seriously. Pick up a Suros Regime, throw on Focused Fire, and then come back to this video and thank me for the recommendation, because you're going to have a lot of fun. I'm not a fan of auto rifles, and I have been having an absolute blast with Suros Regime. So much so that I actually keep a Suros Regime on all 3 of my characters. All 3 of my characters have their own Suros Regime now, because that's how much fun I'm having using this weapon. So moving on to the second one. This one, again, you're going to say, like, what, Pyro? What are you talking about? But it's going to be the First Curse, man. This is another weapon that I can't explain it, but I have a hell of a lot of fun using this hand cannon. It has some really interesting perks for a hand cannon. First of all, you have triple tap, which is great because this thing only comes with an 8-round magazine. So with triple tap, you can proc that and stretch that 8-round magazine up to about a 12-round magazine, I believe, which puts it up there pretty close to Hawkmoon as being the highest capacity hand cannon in the game, because Hawkmoon has 13 rounds, so you can get up to 12 with this one. And if you time your shots out just right, if you go 7 kills, 7 shots without landing a precision kill, and then hit the First Curse perk, first precision kill of the magazine refills it, granting bonus to range and stability until the player reloads. If you can time this right, you can fire 15 shots before you have to reload. Actually, more than that. You can fire 7 here, proc this, get an additional 8, and then do the triple tap again to get an additional 4. You fire like 20 bullets with this thing before you have to actually do a reload. I mean, it's ridiculous. This is the high impact, lower rate of fire archetype of hand cannon. So that is not going to be like, say, a palindrome. I'll go ahead and pop a palindrome on as I get a notification on my phone. But you can see that it is higher impact and lower rate of fire than palindrome. But honestly, with hand cannons, I don't notice that much of a difference. So the way that I like to use this, I like to go ahead and throw on the soft ballistics to get that little bit of a boost to range and impact. Of course, you run triple tap, and then over here, I will go ahead and put on... it depends. I usually use either speed reload or lightweight. I'm probably going to go with speed reload most of the time, because this thing does reload kind of slowly. And then you have this perk right here, and it makes for an all-around awesome hand cannon, man. This thing has really strong target acquisition. It can one-shot a lot of most low-level enemies to the head, and even some of the larger enemies. You can run around the Dreadnought and one-shot knights in the head with this thing. I mean, it's really fun. It's super fun. I love the sights on it. It's a really good exotic, man. It really and truly is. So that's the primaries. So now we're going to move on to the specials. And like I said, these aren't in any kind of order, but the next one that we're going to talk about is Plan C. I honestly do not know why everybody, like, it doesn't make sense to me that everybody is not using this weapon. Honestly, Plan C is fucking amazing. Plan C has always been good. Even when fusion rifles were in a very bad place and they were just complete garbage, Plan C was still really good. And with fusion rifles, the way that they are right now, fusion rifles are good, man. If you're not using fusions, you need to get out there and find yourself a Saladin's Vigil, go get yourself a Darkblade Spite, and go get yourself a Plan C, because fusion rifles are fucking great right now. They really and truly are. So looking at this thing's perks, what does it do? First off, it does arc damage, which is always good. There's a lot of arc enemies in the game of Destiny. We have Field Choke, we have CQB Ballistics, and we have Smart Drift Control. For these, you really want the stability, but I don't like the drop-off to impact, so I'm going to go with one of these two. More than likely, Smart Drift Control, because with fusion rifles, stability really is one of the most important things. So next up we have Hipfire, which is kind of a meh perk. But over here we have Accelerated Coils, which is a must-have for any fusion rifle, especially if you're in the Crucible. Then we have Hammer Forged, and if you want some extra stability without sacrificing range, you can go Perfect Balance. So really there's two viable options to do this. You can run this perk, Field Choke, and Perfect Balance, or you can run Smart Drift Control and Accelerated Coils, but if you run both of those, you're going to lose a significant chunk to impact. So what I'll typically do is I'll run Field Choke with Perfect Balance, and then you throw on the Plan C perk. Charge and equip times are very short immediately after weapon swap. That means that when you have your primary, you're running around, you're using a hand cannon, you're out of ammo, you're trying to reload, there's a fucking knight right there trying to bitch slap your ass. You swap to this, as soon as you swap, like in the animation, you're holding down your trigger, you're going to blast that knight super fast. Same thing with Crucible, man. This thing is an absolute animal in the Crucible. It's super good. The reload speed is ridiculous, so, I mean, you don't really need to have any reload perks or anything like that. Like, it's so good, man. It's such a great weapon. I really don't understand why everybody does not use this. Seriously, it's fucking good. So, moving on to the fourth weapon here, we're going to go ahead and jump right into it. Fucking Lord of Wolves, man. The exotic shotgun that you get from completing Challenge of Elders drops as a random aftermatch reward. It is super good in PvE and not too bad in PvP, honestly. This thing, you carry a ton of ammo for it. If it's something like Solar Burn, I know that the range on this looks really shitty, but don't let that deter you on this thing, man. Honestly, if it's Solar Burn or something like Specialist, you can get some hella range out of this thing. Some range that you probably feel like you should not get. It's really good, man. You can absolutely melt bosses with this thing if it's Solar or Specialist. So looking at its perks and why it makes it special, we have Solar Burn, we have Smart Drift Control, we have Soft Ballistics, and we have Linear Compensator. Linear Compensator is the one that you're going to want to do. See, for this particular type of shotgun, stability doesn't really matter all that much, since you're going to be firing in bursts. You want to try to get your range up. So you can see with Linear Compensator, more predictable recoil, slight boost to range and impact, and more recoil. Recoil is fine on something like this. Don't let that deter you. Linear Compensator is the one that you want to go with for the boost to range and impact. Next up, we have Hipfire, which is meh. Over here, we have Speed Reload, Extended Mag, and Perfect Balance. Now, a lot of people are going to be tempted to use Perfect Balance. I'm going to tell you right now, you want Extended Mag. It boosts your magazine up to, I think, 36, which gives you 2 extra bursts per magazine. This is really going to come in handy, man. With this thing, it's a spray and play type of weapon, so you really want as much damage as possible. It doesn't really matter how stable it is. You just want the bullets to hit something. So Extended Mag's where it's going to be. And lastly, Devil's Touch. This is the exotic perk. Kills with this weapon rally nearby allies with +3 recovery. Lasts 30 seconds. This is a really good team perk, man. And, this was designed for the original Prison of Elders, specifically Skolas. Like, this was really good in Skolas with Solar Burn and all that shit. But, yeah, it's a great team weapon, man. All in all, this thing's really fun. I keep one in my vault, and when it's Solar Burn or Specialist, I will bust this bad boy out, and I will go slay some shit in Nightfalls or Strikes. It's super fun. Definitely recommend it. And the last one that we're going to talk about here, we've already gone through 4. Let's go ahead and talk about number 5, and that's going to be a weapon that will always hold a very special place in my heart, and that is Patience and Time, guys. Patience and Time. Exotic sniper rifle, does arc damage. This is one of my favorite year 1 weapons for the simple fact that without this weapon, I would not have been able to solo many of the Nightfalls on my Titan or my Warlock. The reason I say that is because Patience and Time, the exotic perk, you gain active camouflage while aiming down the sights. So what that means is if you're a Titan or a Warlock and you're jealous of the Hunter's invisibility on Arcblade subclass, you can have your own invisibility. All you do is aim down the sights, you go invisible for a few seconds, gives you enough time to regen health, maybe move to cover, whatever the case may be. This thing has saved my ass so many times. Now, looking at this thing's perks, or this thing's stats, it's not the ideal rate of fire to impact ratio versus something like, say, Icebreaker. You know, it has higher rate of fire, lower impact than Icebreaker, but where this thing makes up for its lack of impact is its perks, man. Like, you can go invisible. That's going to help you. You have Third Eye on a special, which is fucking amazing. I think that this is the only weapon in the game, the only special weapon in the game, that your radar can stay active while you're aiming down sights. For Crucible, this is absolutely... I can't even think of the word. Like, it's so good. Just put it that way. It's so good. You have invisibility. They can't see you. You have Third Eye. You can see them. And then you look down the middle tree here. Custom Optics really doesn't do anything. You have Fitted Stock, which stability is always really good on snipers. And my favorite is Field Scout, increased carried ammo capacity. This is going to allow you to carry more ammo, which is going to get you more shots, which means more damage that will compensate for that lack of impact that you're missing from something like, say, Icebreaker or Event Horizon. Over here we have Field Choke, we have CQB Ballistics, and we have Aggressive Ballistics. Field Choke, I think, is going to be the winner here. This one right here does max stability, but you can see that you take a little bit off on your impact and a little bit off on your range. Range doesn't really matter all that much with snipers since I have really good range to begin with, but I don't like that little bit of a decrease in impact because this thing already does have pretty low impact. So instead of that, I'm going to go with Fitted Stock if I'm doing Crucible, and I'm going to do Field Scout if I'm doing PvE. But there you have it, guys. Just to recap, let's run through them one more time. We have Suros Regime. We have the first Curse Hand Cannon. We have Plan C, Lord of Wolves, and Patience and Time. And those right there, guys, are my 5 most underrated exotics in the game of Destiny. 5 exotics that nobody uses that I would recommend everybody use. And if you don't like them, you don't like them. But just try them out, man. I guarantee you that at least one of those 5, if you try them all out, at least one of those 5, you're going to be like, man, this thing's fucking awesome. Thank you, Pyro. But anyway, that's going to bring this video to an end. If you enjoyed it, click like. If you're new to the channel, click subscribe. And if you're already subscribed, I fucking love you. Thank you for watching, and take care, guys.